The Giza Pyramid, that massive ancient wonder in Egypt, sitting there for over 4,500 years, soaking up secrets. I'm not talking about your average, I lost my wallet on a tour reviews here. These are personal accounts from real people who walked away from Giza with stories they'll never shake. I mean, imagine standing in the shadow of those stones, feeling like something's watching you. Ever had that vibe on a trip? Me too. First up is a guy named Mark, a college sophomore back in the spring of '98. He was this wiry kid with glasses, always scribbling in a notebook. Total archaeology nerd. He'd grown up obsessed with Egypt, building pyramid models out of Legos, so when his university's archaeology club planned a spring break trip to Cairo, he was all in. Saved up from a summer job flipping burgers just to afford it. The highlight? They scored a rare after-hours pass to explore inside the Great Pyramid, something most tourists only dream of. It's late, maybe 10 p.m., and Mark's group, about 8 of them, are shuffling through these narrow, dusty corridors. The air's heavy, like breathing through a wet towel, and the walls are this smooth, golden limestone that swallows sound. They finally reach the king's chamber, this huge hollow room deep inside with a massive stone sarcophagus in the corner. Everyone's buzzing, taking photos with these clunky old film cameras, joking about mummies, the usual. Mark's got this cheap flashlight he bought at a gas station, and halfway through the room, it starts flickering. He smacks it, swaps the batteries, still dimming in and out. Annoying, but whatever, he keeps going. Then he hears it, a low whisper, faint at first, like wind sneaking through a crack. Mark, Mark. He freezes, heart pounding, and spins around. His friends are scattered. 2 are measuring the walls. One's posing by the sarcophagus. Nobody's looking at him. He chalks it up to echoes. Old places like this mess with your head, right? But it doesn't stop. It gets louder, sharper, almost urgent, and it's coming from that empty sarcophagus. He steps closer, flashlight shaking in his hand, and swears he sees the shadows inside shift, like something's curling up from the bottom. His buddy, Jake, yells, "Smile!" and snaps a photo right then, a blinding flash in the dark. Mark laughs it off, but he's rattled. They finish the tour, head back to their hostel, and a week later, back in the States, Jake gets the film developed. There's Mark, standing by the sarcophagus, pale and wide-eyed, and behind him, this blurry outline. It's tall, humanoid, with what looks like a hand hovering over his shoulder. No one else in the group saw it that night. Mark kept that photo in a drawer, never went back to Giza, and told me it felt like something in there knew him. His name, his fears, everything. Still gives me goosebumps thinking about it. This one's from Aisha. It's 2015, and she's 25, fresh out of grad school, craving a spring break adventure. She's got this wild, curly hair and a laugh that fills a room, always dragging her quieter cousin Layla into her schemes. They book a cheap flight to Cairo, dreaming of falafel and pyramid selfies. They link up with a local guide named Hassan, a wiry guy with a sun-creased face and a knack for storytelling, hired to show them the Giza complex at dusk, when the crowds thin out and the sky turns this deep, golden orange. They're wandering the plateau, snapping pics by the Sphinx, when Aisha gets restless. She's always been a rule breaker, sneaking into concerts, that sort of thing, so she decides to climb a few steps on the pyramid's base. Hassan's distracted, chatting with Layla, and Aisha's thinking, What's a few stones? She's about 10 steps up, feeling the rough limestone under her sneakers when it happens. This weird jolt, like the step beneath her, just drops. She stumbles, grabs the next block, heart slamming against her ribs. She looks down. The step's there, solid, no cracks, nothing. Layla giggles. Clumsy much? But Aisha's gut twists. She brushes it off, climbs down, and they move on. Later, Hassan takes them inside, down a cramped passage near the Queen's chamber. It's tight, shoulders brushing the walls, air stale and warm. Aisha's behind Layla, counting steps to keep her mind off the claustrophobia when it happens again. She plants her foot, and it's like the stone vanishes. Her leg sinks an inch before catching. This time, there's a sound, a low, grinding rumble like gears churning deep below. She yelps. Layla spins around, and Hassan's eyes go wide. He mutters something in Arabic about old traps, his voice shaky. Aisha bolts, dragging Layla with her, and they stumble back into the open air, panting. That night, at their Airbnb, Aisha's replaying her GoPro footage, trying to laugh it off. She freezes on one clip, her foot mid-step in the passage, and below it, nothing. Just a black void where the stone should be, like the pyramid swallowed it. Hassan wouldn't talk about it the next day, just said some places move when they shouldn't. Aisha's convinced there's something alive under Giza, something mechanical, ancient, watching. I don't know about you, but that footage would have kept me up for weeks. Next up is Carlos, a guy who swears this happened in 2007. He's this loud, stocky dude from Texas, the life of any party. It's spring break, and he's 22, tagging along with his frat brothers on a whirlwind trip. Greece for a week. Then a last-minute detour to Egypt because why not? They roll into Giza at sunrise, bleary-eyed from too much ouzo the night before, sand sticking to their flip-flops. The pyramid's this hulking shadow against the pink sky, and Carlos, always the show-off, decides to mess around near the Sphinx while the group's taking pics. He's got this goofy grin, kneeling in the sand, digging with his hands like a kid at the beach. His buddy Miguel's egging him on. Find us a treasure, man. Carlos is a few inches down, sand cool and gritty, when his fingers brush something. Cold, leathery, not stone. He pulls it up, expecting a coin or shard, but it's a human finger. Shriveled, grayish, like a mummy's, but soft, no decay. The guys scream, half laughing, half freaked, and Carlos, being Carlos, pockets it saying, "This is my souvenir." That night, at their rundown hostel in Cairo, he's sprawled on a lumpy mattress, the finger in a Ziploc bag on the nightstand. He wakes up at 3 a.m. to scratching, like nails on wood, under his bed. He leans over, heart racing, but it's just dusty floorboards. The bag's empty, though. The finger's gone. He tears the room apart, waking Miguel, who's pissed and calls him paranoid. Next morning, they're back at Giza, and Carlos feels this weird pull, like his arms being tugged toward the Sphinx. He digs again, same spot, sand flying, and pulls up another finger, same look, same chill. He drops it, books it back to the van, and the group ditches him for laughing it off. But here's the haunting part. Every spring since, Carlos dreams of hands, dozens of them, clawing up from the sand, fingers curling toward him. He sent me a blurry phone pic of that second finger, still in the dirt, and I'll throw it on screen if I can. Did he disturb some ancient grave? Or was Giza playing a sick joke? Either way, I'd keep my hands out of that sand. Last one's from Sarah, a solo traveler who hit me up about this after it went down in 2022. She'd just turned 30, a quiet graphic designer from Seattle, treating herself to a spring break adventure in Egypt after a rough year. She's got this calm vibe, short hair, always in flannel, but she'd always wanted to see Giza up close. She signs up for a guided tunnel tour, one of those off-the-books deals where you crawl through the pyramid's underbelly, narrow shafts most tourists never touch. It's mid-afternoon, sun baking the plateau outside, but down here it's cool, damp, almost suffocating. The group's small. Sarah, a German couple, and their guide, Omar, this wiry guy with a headlamp and a thick accent. They're squeezing through a passage below the pyramid, walls so tight Sarah's elbows scrape the stone. She's at the back, fumbling with her phone for pics. Dim light, grainy shots of hieroglyphs. When she hears it, a soft shuffle, like sandals dragging behind her. She turns, but the tunnel's empty, just flickering torchlight from Omar up ahead. Her chest tightens. Probably a rat, she tells herself. They hit a sharp bend, single file, and it happens again. Shuffle, closer now, followed by this cold puff of air on her neck, like someone exhaling. She whips around, bangs her head on the ceiling, nothing there. Her phone dies right then, screen black, plunging her into darkness. She's fumbling for the power button when a voice rasps, clear as day, "Look!" It's low, guttural, echoing in her skull. She stumbles forward, finds the group, and Omar swings his light backpin pin. Her breath's ragged, and she bolts past the barricades, sneaking through the dark like a couple of kids, laughing like idiots. Omar's pissed, but he lets it slide. Guess he figures they're just dumb tourists. She gets back to her group, shaking, and tells them everything. They think she's nuts. But later that night, back at the hotel, her phone, fully charged, dies again. She reboots it, and there's a new photo. A blurry shot of the tunnel wall, and carved into it, faint but clear, a face, sharp cheekbones, hollow eyes, staring right at the lens. She didn't take it. No one did. Sarah's never traveled solo since. She sent me that photo. Chilling, right? I'll pop it up if I can. Makes you wonder what's down there, watching from those tunnels, waiting for someone to look back. There you go. 4 true scary stories from the Giza Pyramid that'll stick with me, and hopefully you, for a while. That place is unreal, ancient, massive, and apparently full of secrets that don't mess around. What do you think? Ever been to Giza and felt something off? Or maybe you've got your own creepy travel tale. Drop it in the comments. Seriously, I read everyone, and I might feature yours next time.